What's up, everybody? Are you ready to bring the pain this week? Oh, yeah. Now that football's done, this isn't going to be a hard hits or cool picks podcast right now. This is going to be things that make me a jerk. Oh, yeah. Who's the jerk now, brother? Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't wait. So, what I'm doing going forward for Tuesdays, I'm just going to make it things that make me a jerk Tuesdays, right? That's what I'm just every single Tuesday, look for my things that make me a jerk. I'm going to keep it to one subject, right? Going forward. And then at the end of the episode today, I have some great news to tell everybody. It's going to be totally awesome. It's about what I'm going to be doing in the off season, as well as don't forget my Ultra Contrarian show and my Bring the Pain sports show still will air on drroto.com. But for right now, this is things that make me a jerk. Hit him with the 808. Oh, yeah. Woo! What are we talking about? All right. You're about to figure this one out. It's a nice, beautiful day. You're going to the store. Nothing's ever going to go wrong, right? You think that it's just going to go smooth. Hey, you got a front parking space. You are the king or the queen today. Oh, yeah. But you were not ready for what you're about to encounter today. And these situations make you the jerk. Oh, yeah. Let's get to it, right? All right. First thing, it starts right when you get into with the carts. You're looking at the carts and you're like, all right, I'm going to go get a cart. All of a sudden, this person comes out of nowhere, sometimes on their phone, totally annoying. Because, I mean, that's a whole things that make me a jerk in itself. People in cell phones in line or anywhere, they just annoy the shit out of you. So, while that being said, you get there and you're like, oh, okay. And then the person comes in, takes your cart. You're like, okay, I'll just go get the next one. So, you're already inconvenienced. You've already been pushed aside. You've already had people get in your way. Because they do. They get in your way, right? So you get right in, you go up to the things, you bam. You get in your first aisle, and you're just like, man, there's like 5 people in that aisle. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'll hit that aisle on the way back out. So right now you already see what's happening. As you're already encountering what's happening at the store, your front parking space and your happiness is now being drained by these idiots. So when you're going through, you get through and you're like, all right, I'm not going to deal with that. So your jerk meter is rising slowly, right? So you get to the aisle, there's one guy in it, right? You just, all right, one girl, whatever. And you run down there and you're like, all right, I want some Peter Pan peanut butter. All right. And you're looking, but you can't find it. Right. For a second. You're like, man, where? Oh, so I see where it is. It's behind this person. Behind the person. So you're sitting there and you're like, all right, well, let me go over here. I got to grab something, right? Person's still sitting there watching. They're looking at freaking hot cocoa, man. Like it's the world's biggest decision, hot cocoa. This should only be 2 things. Maybe a third option if you like cheap generic shit, but it's either Swiss Miss or it's Nestle's. Get on with your ass, right? Why are you standing across from the aisle looking at it? Don't you have bad eyesight at your age? Maybe you should get a little closer so I can get some fucking peanut butter, man. What the hell? Man, just get out the way, right? But here you get those winners, right? You get those winners, and you're like, oh, I'm in your way, right? And then they immediately move to where you were going to go next, and you lose anyway. So you're frustrated. You grab your peanut butter, and you totally don't even go for the second one because it's completely not worth it. Your jerk meter is at a level high right now. You're just like, all right, let me just, at this point, you got to go. And this happens to me probably all the time. This is why the ladies don't like taking me shopping, man. Wife and daughter, they're just like, man, we can't put up with you. And then something like this happens, and I just lose it. I just lose. I'm out. I got to go. And then they forget stuff. And then on the way home, and they're like, oh, we needed this. And then I'm getting yelled at. I'm the jerk. I'm the fucking jerk, man. Oh, yeah. Anyway, we're sitting there. And I'm like, all right, this can't get any worse. You just go, hey, you get the rest of your shopping done. You go back through and you get to that cart, the aisle with the 5 people in it. There's nobody in it. You hurry up and get there. You just got to get a couple things. Maybe this is the bread aisle, the coffee aisle, whatever it may be. You're going to sit there and you're going to be sitting and you're like, all right, look, I'm just going to get in and out and we're cool. all of a sudden, 3 people from the west and 3 people from the east or whatever way come walking in. You're like, oh man, and they all have carts. And then the dreaded person with the wheelchair one. So now the whole aisle is congested at both ends. You can't even leave. Like, unless somebody moves, you gotta leave. And you can't go down the motorized, cart area person because there's nothing wrong with them. They're just down there, and there's 3 other people down there with them. And there's no way that this person's gonna back up for you because most likely they're an asshole. So before you become a jerk, you decide to avoid the situation. You go the other way. Well, you go the other way, you fight your way through these people, and right now you are at all high. One last thing could set you off from being a jerk, right? So you hurry up, you get up there, and you go to get in line. You're like, all right, I'm in line. There's just no way. Nobody can stop me. And this is all mostly self-checkout now because, we do the job for them. And I'm not one of those people that are going to be like, we do your job. We should be doing this. No, I don't care, man. Self-checkout makes me faster, gets me out because I know I ain't going to be putting up with none of you idiots sitting there paying for one grocery bill with 7 different credit cards. Another episode. Anyway, back to it. You're sitting there and all of a sudden you encounter the same thing. One of these big franchises, it sounds like it could be a W fart, something like that. Yeah, I called it. Yeah, right. They put all the self-checkouts in the middle aisles, like right next to each other. So won't you know, the person that was blocking the fucking peanut butter is there with his cart blocking all the other ones again. And you can't get around him. So you finally see this thing. You decide to go through all the little weaving the bobbins. You get there only to have somebody step in front of you. That other person you encountered and get there before you. So now you're waiting at self-checkout because of that. That's when you make the face. You're like, what the fuck, man? Like, you don't got to say fuck. And you're just like, oh, right? So I just get hysterical. I just walk the hell away. I make it evident that, like, that was my motherfucking machine. I couldn't help that Mr. fucking peanut butter blocker here is in the way again, but yet we're sitting here doing this. You finally cash out, you get out, and then the last thing that sets you out, they got to check your receipt. Yo, why don't you check Mr. Peanut Butter Man's receipt? Because you hurry up, you got to get out of there because he will come block you one more time. And that is how people make people like me a jerk. Oh, yeah. Woo! Did I breathe? I don't think I breathed. Did I breath a lot? Did I breath? All right. So going forward, I just want to say I'm going to be creating a series, a hometown series, where I'm going to be interviewing different people from my city, my home city, different people in different professions, maybe a friend. I always got my friends. They'll always come on my show. At the same time, yes, I'll call you out. Yo, get a Saturday free. Oh, yeah. And then at the same time, I've got a bunch of other things I got going in. I'm talking to this guy that's, part of our fight team. And he came up to me. He was like, hey, I'll do one. And he's a perfect candidate. His name is Kane. He's going to be a great, great interview. I mean, he does so much for the youth in our community. And he was recently just hired on as the assistant head coach for the Harbor Creek wrestling team. So that's like really cool stuff. And, so I'm going to have him on. And I'm going to have some local wrestlers on as well, too. Hey, we got a lot coming out. And I mean, eventually when Rocky starts feeling better, I'm going to have to make sure that Rocky gets on Bring the Pain because I got a whole lot I want to talk about. Until then, keep your eyes, stay tuned. Always remember to bring the pain. Ooh, yeah. Let me jerk at you. Yeah.